my father played. And he was a good player. A three most of his life. So now that he was here with the Pennsylvania Railroad, he, of course, was advised that the railroad had one course and that they might well have a second course. And the one is gone today, and that was in Havertown. That part of that course was on what was Lanark's third nine. See, Lanark had 3 nines, and then the railroad arranged to have them give up part of their property so that the railroad could do a golf course in that general area, and they did. So that's where my father played at the beginning. I was intrigued by the notion of this game, even though I'd never seen it played, and I got my father to take me out a couple of times, maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times, to Fraser. The college golf was a delightful experience. This, despite the fact that we rarely won. And there was no reason why we should have won, because we were weak. And every time I think of playing number 1 on a college golf team, that's absurd on the face of it. Hey, in 1951, graduation was going to be 10 days later. And we played Penn. We played them our last match. And it was a rainy day. Yeah, it was at times heavy rains, and then it would back off a bit. And I remember hitting putts on that day that created the fabulous water fan. You know, the way they go across the green and they just stir up and make this perfect. And that was the day. And we beat Penn. And that day, I don't know that we beat them regularly, but we certainly beat them that day, our last match. So it was a happy occasion. The man I caddied for on Saturday morning, the nose of the gray Cadillac convertible would turn off the Lawrenceville Road, and you saw it come through the hedges, and it was coming down the driveway, and a few of us breathed a sigh of relief, because if he didn't come, we didn't know what we were going to do. And driving that car was Samuel Irving Newhouse. And he was already, in 1948, well on his way to being a multi-billionaire. I carried the bag, and that was it. I didn't do another thing, when normally, for all that gang that I was caddying for all the time, I was trying to help them with their game. Hole after hole, shot after shot. But I didn't do anything for Mr. Newhouse, because walking along as the third member of our little trio was the head pro at the club, Vic Rice, and he's giving the instructions. So I'm just, I'm just a bystander, except I got the bag on my shoulder. And I'll never forget, I mean, he was such an exquisite player. You know, John Zaneski hit that golf ball almost as squarely as anybody I ever saw. But the trajectory of the shots by him just took your breath away, because whether it was a 3-iron or a 7-iron or a 4-wood, that ball always left the club face in the same way, climbed properly in the same proper height, and came down, and you just stood there and shook your head, because who can do that, you know? It's a beautiful player. John Tedeschi played for Temple when I was at Salle, and he always, I say always, we played 3 times, I think, but he made a point of carrying me through the 13th hole. He never beat me 8 and 7. He would always do 6 and 5. Just a lovely guy, you know, and there was no match. He was going to murder me, so he made it work so that I got at least to the 13th green. It was a beautiful player. Hyndman stands on the tee. Oh, we've got that out of bounds then. Mm-hmm. On the right, but tight on the right. And he cuts it out of bounds. Puts another one down on the tee, and he cuts it out of bounds. 3rd ball on the tee, and he hooks it into the bunkers on the left. Mm-hmm. Well, we're both ready to die. You know, we don't want to be seen again on the property after that performance. So we head out. We're looking at the ball in the sand, there it is. And we talk about the shot and agree that it's a 7-iron in. And he hits this perfect 7-iron to about 3 feet. And he taps it in for 5. He's already spent 5 strokes reaching the sand. Mm-hmm. No, not in 1946 or 7. That was the year that a ball out of bounds was a stroke only, not stroke and distance. And it lasted for only 1 year. And then USGA felt a lot of pressure that this didn't make good sense. Let's go back to the old way. And so they did. But Jay, you know, was so much better than anybody else. And, but the day we played with him and his father, I remember him taking me aside and whispering to me on the tee, say around the 9th or so. Jeez, you saw it. Jim, you saw it. Jay's having trouble with those short putts. Those 4-footers, we gotta get him so that they're automatic. And sure enough, Jay must have missed about 4 of them that day. I never played with him again. It was just fun. But he soon got over that and managed to make anything he wanted.
Was that as you envisioned it?
It really turned out just as I envisioned it, but I had pretty high hopes for it, especially since I was able to control it, you know, utterly control it.